Hi, Willows.
Hi, Alyssa.
Why you look at me the eye like that?
I don't know. Why'd you say it like that?
You look really cool today.
Thank you. I'm trying out I got a leather jacket for Christmas, and I don't know how I feel about it yet, so I'm trying it out.
I think I like it.
Trying out a new fit.
I think I like it. I'm gonna avoid eye contact the rest of the episode.
What do you need mentorship on today, buddy?
Oh man, what don't I need mentorship on right now? Okay, well this like just recently happened. Got me thinking. So the little backstory was I was bartending for your business, Shrugging Doctor Beverage Company.
Sugar.com.
In Winnipeg, Manitoba. We're allowed to say that.
Oh yeah. People
Okay,
people know what I'm
by.
doing. Yeah, people know what I'm doing.
Like it's hard to breathe right now. What was I saying? Okay, so I was bartending for you. And we had like this one. It was a very strange night. We had like this one customer comes in. He sits at the bar. He says he knows the owners. One of them is you. And then just proceeded to like talk about how he's a businessman and like his whole just like everything was like a sales pitch. And I was just like, okay, because like he doesn't know me at all, right? And so I'm trying to like chime in, being like, yeah, like I have a business as well. And he just was like not interested in talking about like shared business experiences or like whatever. Just like kept trying to like sell himself, but like for nothing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and for context, we don't want to get too specific because we don't want to, dox anybody, but
Yeah.
This is a business that has nothing to do with what either of us were doing.
Yes.
This isn't like, I can sell you supplies that you use or whatever. It's completely unrelated to what both of us are doing. There's no possible relation to our businesses.
No.
So he's not doing a sales pitch, like just for context so the listeners know.
Yeah,
he's not doing a sales pitch to like try and sell us something. It's a business that has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, and that's why I was weird. Because yeah, like I said, it just didn't make any sense. And I'm so used to like I'll have a conversation with you where it's like we'll talk about business in like I guess the mentorship kind of way, but also just normal where it's like you want to talk about those shared experiences and like whatever, but it was like he just like I mentioned the bakery and it would just like right over his head.
Yeah.
Like acknowledged it, but then didn't really do anything with it. Like wasn't like, oh, that's cool. What do you do? Or like there's just like no interest. And it was just like, well, here's about okay, well, now I feel mean, but like you can take this out if you want. But like it was about like his failed business. And he was like just going off about that. And then now what he's doing. But it was so weird because it's like he was getting a drink as well, so he was also a customer. I don't know. Weird experience. Just made me feel strange. Did I make that? Did any of that make sense?
Well, you've provided the context now. What's your question? What do you need mentorship
There's more.
on?
There's more. Okay. So later in the night, another person comes in. Another business owner, we find out.
Oh, yeah, and this was all on the same night,
This is the same night.
Yeah, you were texting me.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
And it was like very...
Should I start over? No, I can't. Okay. They'll have to get used to the yapping, I think. My sister was also bartending with me.
Yeah, because she'll come cover some shifts every so often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which just it works out great. So that's like another thing too. Is like if you haven't heard before, me and my sister, we own the bakery together. So that's my business partner. So it's like also again a good opportunity for all of us to talk about business, try to like network, make connections. But it was like he was not interested anyway. So someone else comes in and starts talking to us about and just like talking about and a lot of the times when people come in they'll talk about how like Shrugging Doctor could do we should get your drinks here or we should get your wine here, and like that's a pretty normal thing. So like she was kind of doing that. So we're like, then she mentioned the menu and I was like, oh, like our bakery, like we make stuff for the menu as well. And again she was just like, oh, that's cool, this is what I do. It just kept going. And it was really jarring because, again, I'm just so used to, like, our conversations. And it was, like, just, like, did not care. And so it was, like, the dismissiveness of, like, there's so, like, I've never experienced people just wanting to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
And, like, not, like, foster connections or, like, build relationships like even just in business, even if you have no relation to like, you know, like I'm not gonna like talk to someone who's in a welding company and be like, how can we collaborate?
Yeah.
But I think like the business aspect of it is like, it's very interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I've like never encountered people who are just like, actually I just want to talk about meat. And maybe it was because I was like the bartender, so like that's just how it goes, is like people will do that. They'll just have a drink and then be like, let me tell you my entire life. People do that to me without drinks though as well. Anyway, it was just weird. And then the next day me and my sister, we were trying to get supplies from it's gonna give it away, a distributor, trying to get supplies from a local company. And we've sent her like emails, like Instagram messages, like stuff that like we've frequently done before. And as of lately, she's just been giving us like kind of like cold shoulder, and we're trying to like buy stuff from her because we use it in our products, right? But lately it's been like, oh well, I'll be at this place, but I can't fit that in my vehicle, so I'll have to do it on like this day. And then that day comes around and we don't hear from her. And it's been like this for like weeks. But then we just recently saw that she's been delivering to a bunch of other bakeries and like ignoring us at the same time. And we were just like, okay, well, is this like a personal thing where people just like aren't taking us seriously? And this is what I'm getting to. So this whole thing, right? How do you handle like people just not taking you seriously? Because to me, I feel like it's like, especially with like when you work with like local people, it's like, don't you want to build relationships and like connections and form those like business things? But then it's like people don't take you seriously. So like, how do you deal with that? I've never had to before. So.
Well, I'll just start by saying 8.5 minutes to get to the question is probably a new record
Come on,
for the
man.
podcast, but
all right.
I just had to razz you a little bit.
All right. Has a leather jacket, thinks he's cool.
All right, let's so from my experience, I'll say when I started the winery, I was 18 years old. And my business partner and I are like, he's a high school dropout. I got a 48 average in high school that they rounded up to a 50 because they wanted to get rid of us. And alcohol in this province is completely government regulated. So it's a government monopoly. So you have to sell your alcohol to the government, and then they have government liquor stores that they sell it through. So those first, 18 months or whatever of like startup phase before we actually started selling in the public, we had to have 30 plus meetings with 4 different departments of the government to make sure everything's, inspected and, all this or whatever.
Yeah.
And I definitely did get the sense of them not taking us seriously, like them being like, these fucking kids.
Yeah.
That definitely came up. So early, I'll give you what I kind of early on, and then I'll kind of give you my end. But then also, like, as I've gone, I've noticed that there's a lot of people in my industry, in the craft alcohol industry here, that don't take us seriously at all. Mm-hmm. Or maybe didn't before. We're coming up on, a decade of doing this, so it's changed a little bit, but definitely before, I heard through the grapevine, pun intended there, that a lot of these owners in the industry didn't like us, didn't think that we were professional, didn't think whatever, and these are people that that don't know me, like they never had a conversation with me.
Yeah.
And I can admittedly, I was probably more immature, back then. But I always tried to be professional with at least my the industry and the network. Like I never, there's some things I did back then that I regret doing. Maybe not regret doing, but like I could see how we're in bad form.
Yeah.
Like I remember taking a couple things public when it shouldn't have been, when it like if another local manufacturer had an issue with me, I would like make a Facebook status about it, being like, oh, they hate me for no reason, and like kind of make a private issue public, which I wouldn't do now. And I never did on my business page. I always think there should be a little bit of decorum for your brand pages. I hate when people use their brand pages as personal pages. Like if you have a company Instagram, don't post your kids. Like keep it, unless they're directly working in the business, like don't do stuff like that. I hate that. Or like talking to your friends on your business page or whatever, just keep it separate. I think there should be a level of professionality. So I never made an issue on my business profiles, but I remember like tweeting and stuff like on my personal account, like stuff about these, other people, or like not attacking them, but just like defending myself, and just now looking back, it kind of looks pathetic that I'm like, like, no, nuh-uh. Like,
actually.
Yeah, actually, that's not true. But so that's something I wouldn't do anymore. But I guess like, I'm not sure if it was like jealousy. Because like, how else can you explain somebody being mad at me for just existing? Like, I've never talked to them before in my life. They've never tried my product in their life, and they're just like just go on social media and shit talk me, or not, if they didn't do it on social media, say it to other people in the industry. Like, say, like, even like this would have been 3 years ago, we bought a piece of equipment off a brewery that we're acquainted with, and then he told me that this other brewery, and like I won't name them obviously, but he told me who it was, were like, maybe not trying to get them to stop, but they were like, why would you sell that to them? Why would you sell that piece of equipment to Shrugging Doctor? Weird. And he's like, number one, why do you care? Number two, like, because I like them, because I sold, what, like, what, like, and then they were trying to be like, oh, you shouldn't have sold it to them.
That's so weird.
Yeah, very. And these are like 50-year-old men, right? Like, these are just like, they're probably 80 years old, 110 years old. Like, they're just on their 5th marriage. I don't know. Like I'm a teenager when I started this business, and these fully grown adults are like bullying me and spreading rumors or whatever. Like, stuff would come back to me and I'd hear it, and I'm like, where does that even come from? Yeah. Like, one of my good friends is in a Discord server for all the bartenders and people in my province here, and or it might be like Central Canada, I don't know, whatever. But and he's sent me some screenshots over the years, and there was like a channel talking about my winery, and they were saying how my father's rich and gave us the money to buy it, and we're like, we haven't made any money at all, and we're just burning $500,000 a year to run it or whatever. Right. And it's just like, I find it very funny, because it's like not even disprovable, but it's like, I'm so open with everything we've done, the whole process. I post about it so often that it's just like so ridiculous that you would even think that. And then like stuff like that has kind of given me the perspective where it's like, oh, these people are so deluded and dumb and just out to lunch that they don't even understand the basis of what they're talking about. Because it's like, someone's like, yeah, I heard, Willow's father is a whatever rich oil billionaire. I don't think it was that, but it was like something like that. And I'm like, my dad's a public school teacher. You can Google it. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, he works for me sometimes on like doing farmers markets on the long weekends, right? And it's just like, it's such a weird, and they've helped me out. Like, I'm very vocal about that too. They helped when I was, earlier on, like in year 1 or 2 or whatever, like they helped me out with rent and stuff for a bit there. buy me groceries every so often, like they've been very supportive, monetarily, but it's not like they gave me $1 million to start a winery.
Which is insane, because it's like, if that's what they're saying about you guys, like, that you guys are the wrong company to be pointing those fingers at.
So I guess, like, all that to say, just give context on that. I get a lot of people that either don't take us seriously, or later in life chalk up my success to, like, basically, oh, I was an industry plant, or I bought my way into it, or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's a lot more intense than me just speculating.
Yeah. But then I also had, like, I have screenshots of it too. I have a government employee on a Facebook group, on a craft beer Facebook group, posting private information about my company, like stuff that he only knows because he works for the government,
right?
And he can see my file. And he posted about this investigation that happened into my company, because I think I've told this story before on the internet, but we had this we filed the paperwork, and then the person that was supposed to, like, file it never filed it. It just sat on some desk. Because they did the thing where you, like, when you text your boyfriend and you give him 5 paragraphs and he only responds to one thing. They did that where we sent them this email, and part of it was like part of the email was registering this product with them, which we have to do because government run alcohol.
Yeah.
And they acknowledged that it never got filed properly, and then we sold the product, and then they tried to fine us basically for bootlegging, essentially, like selling something that wasn't registered with them. But I took screenshots of the whole interaction where they go acknowledged when I sent in an application, and I showed it to the regulator, and I said, hey, we basically got to have a little hearing, basically, not like you're not in a court or anything, but in a room where the regulators, like 5 of them or whatever, they go over your case. And I showed them this where I said, okay, yeah, look, do you see where I send this? Yes. Do you see where I attach the application? Yeah. Do you see where they say acknowledged? Yeah. Do you see how I could interpret that as they were acknowledging my application?
Yeah.
And they're like, yep. And then they removed all they could. So apparently when you start a liquor investigation, you can never get less than a verbal warning. They can never dismiss your case. It's dumb. But so they gave me the least punishment you possibly could, and then acknowledge that I was not in the wrong, and nothing ended up happening. We didn't have to pay anything. It was fine.
Yeah.
The government agency that made the mistake, one of their employees then posts on this Facebook group how we're being investigated and how we're probably going to go out of business because of this. And I have all these screenshots still.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's like, that's illegal. You can't just tell, like, that's not public information. People can't that's not public record. You can't just search it up. Like, it's behind,
like, that's like,
NDAs and
breach
whatever.
Of something.
Yeah. Well, at very least, fireable. At the most, illegal.
Yeah.
Right? So I have all these screenshots, and we were going to do something with them, and they basically implied that if we did, they would cut us off and stop buying our alcohol. And so they're basically extorting us.
That's insane.
They would because they're basically like, well, if someone's suing us, then why would we have their stuff in our stores? And it's like, I had to read between the lines and be like, all right.
Oh my God.
So all this tangent is to say that this kind of stuff has happened to me a lot, where people don't take us seriously or don't agree with what we do. And, like, honestly, I don't even get it. I just, like, kind of keep my head down and try to make a good product and sell it to people.
Definitely.
So the earliest on dealing with it is, like, I tried to dress well. I tried to look well. Like, I wore a suit and, I showed up when I said I was going to show up. Put in the effort, kind of just like, even though I did some things that, like, I probably wouldn't do now, it's like I was showing up every day and putting in the work. And then I think the biggest combat against people not taking you seriously is just every single week that you're still in business, and every single month that you grow from the previous month, and every single new customer and every single word of mouth. That's the best defense against that.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, these people, my detractors, went from, oh, they're never going to succeed, to now, you know, in the last year, when I see these Discord messages, it's like, well, yeah, they succeeded, but it's because of this,
yeah,
right?
like heavy cope.
They've
like,
changed the tune,
yeah,
where now it's not, oh, they don't know what they're doing, they're gonna, and there's like this big, this is all public too, but there's this big wine journalist in my city who was a very vocal, did not like us when we started, and would write pieces basically saying that we were going to go out of business or whatever, and then he publicly apologized in like 2020 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're actually acquaintances now. Like we see each other at events and chat or whatever. And he came by the launch of the new restaurants, and we're I wouldn't say close by any. You know, I wouldn't ask him to help me move, but you know, it's like we're definitely on good terms now. Right. And so I respect his integrity, where he was like, he publicly posted like, I was wrong, I shouldn't have said that things, I was not educated and I didn't care to educate myself. So that's what I can say to you, is like, you can hope for moments like that, where, you know, maybe you get a new supplier. I don't know where we made the cut earlier. You were you said too many details and we had to cut some out, so I don't know where we made the cut, but but it's supplies for sure. Yeah. So maybe when you find a new supplier, because this one's not treating you well, because either they don't respect you or they don't take you seriously, and then you get very successful and you say, our exclusive supplier of this item is this company, then that competing company is gonna be like, oh shit, I should have, you know, I had the opportunity to get my foot in the door. And I always say spite's a good motivator. I know that some contemporary business people would say it's not, but I think it definitely is. And I think it would be very poetic for you to ignore her emails, and
just like,
when she's like, hey, can you decide to buy my supplies now? Be like, I can't fit in the van, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just throw it right back.
Just says it's like, the exact same thing that she said to you 5 years before, like in 2029, throw it back the same way, I think would be very poetic.
I think it's like, it's more like, they don't have to like me, you know what I mean? It's fine. It's not like it's not so much of like an ego thing, because it's like, I'm not being attacked by these people like you very much were and still are. It's like, it's just so confusing, because I know that it's like, I think at the core of it, it's like everyone just feels like it's out for themselves, you know? Where it's like the two people that had the conversations that they were like, they had no interest in talking to me about my experiences in business or whatever. It was just like, they were like, I just want to talk about me. Yeah. And then I think same with the supplier, is that, you know, there's other people that are interested in her stuff that are bigger and have storefronts and have more opportunity for her stuff to be sold. Yeah. Whereas ours is like not so much as a priority. So it's like, I can't be mad at it, but it's so weird. Like, I just want to work with people, man. I want to talk. Like, it's so lame. I want to have that community of like, network.
I guess these are kind of two different conversations here, where like the first one with people not caring, it's from How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you're a baby business person, I'm sure you've read this book at some point. Yeah. And he's telling a story, I'm not sure if it was about like Ben Franklin, or he's telling a story about this like famous guy. And he said that he had dinner with like a guy and he didn't say a word the whole time. The other guy was just ranting and telling stories about his business and his life and his wife and all this. Yeah. And the other guy was just nodding. And then at the end of the dinner or whatever, the other guy goes like, man, that was like the best conversation I've had in years. You're such a good friend. You had some great points and you really helped me like, work through it. And it was just like, he didn't say a word. Right. And that's like, I think, very poignant like in life, is that's the average person just wants to listen to themselves yap. Yeah. And in their mind he acknowledged like this, going back to this bartending story, it's like in their mind they acknowledged what you said and they said, yeah, that's great, and then like it's they had this whole conversation, but that's not the reality of it. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's kind of one side, and then for the other side where it's like business is not taking you specifically seriously.
Yeah.
I understand the wanting to network and then getting shot down and that's sucking. But
Yeah.
I think just like friendships too in your personal life, I think like the people that are gonna treat you like that probably wouldn't be good connections anyway.
Which is really true. I mean, and that's why like when like what you were talking about, that just made me think of that I was like, well, I'm not being attacked. Like I'm also like making this about me. Where it's like, yeah, it could be way worse and probably will be. But that'll be another episode for sure.
That's a good point, actually.
But
like the now you're doing the same thing that that the other people are doing. Like,
but it's like, yeah, I guess it's like something that's like I'm excited about it, but it's
Yeah.
I definitely get spoiled talking to you because it's like I think it's like, I mean, definitely not like an equal thing, but it's like the conversation I would say is fairly equal.
Well, I love talking to people about business. Like, it's, you know, I do a lot of farmers markets or whatever, and I always ask people detailed questions, sometimes too detailed for them. They're like, why do you want to know?
Like, no, I will not tell you how much money I made.
Yeah, they're like, you trying to steal my recipes? I'm like, no, I'm just curious. But yeah, I think that's my biggest piece of advice, is just build something that they can't ignore. Like, just keep working at it, and eventually they'll come back. And if they don't, then they weren't. It wasn't worth it anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you. Helped a lot. I gotta get better at that.
It was a better handshake than last time, but it still wasn't great.
I know. I'll get better at it.
Follow us on Instagram.